This training session is a continuation of Billing Part 1. If you have not watched that video yet, we suggest you start with the link in the description of this video so you are prepared to continue into this session. Now that we've gone over the basics of setting up billing in your TherapyNotes account, we're going to go over service codes, patient payments, electronic billing, paper billing, and external billing. For more specific tutorials, visit the TherapyNotes YouTube channel or our Help Center. To start off, let's go more in-depth on what service codes are and how to add them. First, make sure you have the Practice Administrator, Clinical Administrator, or Practice Biller role. Next, click on Settings from the User options, then scroll down to the Notes and Coding section and select Service Codes. Service codes reflect the services you perform and are used for billing to insurance. On the service code page, you'll see all your service codes listed by service type. As mentioned in the Billing Part 1 video, service codes can only be used with their corresponding service type. This page is a great reference point if you're trying to use a service code, but are not finding it when you go to make an appointment. If you're not seeing a service code you'd like to use, you can add it to your account by clicking Add Service Code. When creating a service code, first make sure you're selecting the correct service type for the service code you mean to use. So, if you're entering a service code for use during a therapy session, you'll select the therapy session service type. Keep in mind that not all service codes are available for all clinical users. For example, if you create a service code using the service type psychiatry session, the code will only be available for clinicians involved in medication management. Now let's enter a service code in the service code field using the code 90832, which is used for 30 minutes of psychotherapy. Next to the service code field, you'll see a checkbox labeled This is an add-on code. This box should only be checked if the service code will only be used as a supplement to an existing code. We're going to leave this box unchecked since we're using this code as a primary service code for appointments. In the description box, type what the service code can be used to bill for. The description can be whatever you want, as long as the description you're entering is not exactly the same as another service code description. For this example, type in Psychotherapy 30 minutes. If you would like to include the service code description on electronic claims, be sure to check the box indicating this next to the description. If you want this code to be the default code for when you make appointments with this service type, be sure to check the box next to Default Code. Be prepared that if you're using the client portal for scheduling, the default service code you select will determine the appointment's availability. If your service code is typically used for appointments over a similar length, you can enter a default appointment duration. Since the code we're entering is for 30 minutes of psychotherapy, we're going to set the default appointment duration to 30 minutes. Now, whenever you make an appointment with this service code, the length of the appointment will automatically be set to 30 minutes. Under Time Units, you'll select how you would like this service code to be billed. If you'll always be billing for one unit of this service code, select the first option. If you'll be billing for multiple units of this service code based on the length of an appointment, select the second option and enter how often you would like this code billed during a single session. In this example, selecting a code with a 30-minute default appointment duration will show a 30-minute appointment block when a patient is selecting a therapy session. Next, let's look at the standard rate field. The standard rate should be the amount that you charge for this service if the patient is paying direct and is not in financial distress. For now, we'll just list $50 as the standard rate. Finally, if you'd like to have specific modifiers included whenever you bill this code, you may enter up to 4 of them in the boxes next to default modifiers. It is important to note that default modifiers can be edited for individual dates of service prior to submitting the claim. Once you have looked over the code and everything is as you want it, you can add the code into your system by clicking Add Service Code. If you go back to the service code page, you can see the code you just added within your list. If you'd like to edit a service code, click on the service code, adjust the sections you need, then click Save Changes. Please note that changing the service code's information will not affect any notes that have already been written. The same applies if you delete a service code by clicking Delete in the lower right corner. Patient payments. Next, let's go over patient payments. Once your patient has paid for their services, it's important to stay on top of your bookkeeping by recording the payment as soon as possible. Navigate to the billing page and click Enter Patient Payment. A pop-up will appear allowing you to enter in the name of the patient you'd like to record payment for and brings you to their billing tab. From here, you'll select the payment method. If you've enabled credit card processing, you can choose to swipe a patient's card, enter a patient's card details manually, or select card information that has already been saved. With one of these options selected, saving the payment will charge the card as well as record the payment. However, before doing that, you'll need to enter the payment date, payment amount, and the check number or transaction ID depending on the payment method. After entering the payment amount, the funds will automatically be allocated to the earliest open dates. You can click on the allocation boxes and change the allocations if required. You may also check the write-off boxes on a specific service to record that you were paid less than what you were expecting and are confident you're not going to collect those funds. Once the information you've entered reflects the payments you've received, click Save New Payment. Just as you accept payment from patients, you may also need to issue refunds under various circumstances. Before issuing a refund, you'll need to have an unassigned credit in the patient's chart. To generate an unassigned credit, the amounts entered in the payment allocation column must equal a value less than the payment amount. To do this, go to the patient's billing tab under the Search Billing Transactions section, View All Items. Once you locate the date of service you allocated the patient payment to, click the service type to open the dialog box. Then click the amount the patient paid, which will bring you back to the entire payment. Click Edit in the upper right corner and adjust the allocation fields by lessening or removing the amount completely, depending on how much of a refund you need to issue. You will see the unassigned credit amount in the bottom right corner, which is what is needed to generate the refund. You can also delete a payment here by clicking Delete this payment in the bottom right corner. Deleting a payment will not issue a refund. When finished, click Save Changes. Please note if the patient has autopay enabled, any unassigned credits are applied to balances prior to the nightly automatic charge. To enter a refund from the patient billing page, click Enter Refund, then list the refund amount, the date, the assigned clinician, and any comments you'd like to add. If you have patient credit card processing enabled, the method field will give you an option to have the refund paid back to the patient's card. Otherwise, select Record Refund Only, note the date of the refund, then click Save New Refund. Before we continue with this training session, we'd like to remind you that if you have any questions, you can find additional resources by going to the User Options and clicking Help. This will bring you to our Help Center, which contains numerous articles and videos explaining how to use TherapyNotes. If you'd prefer one-on-one assistance, you can call our support line or send us an email. As always, our support is unlimited and there is no additional cost. Electronic billing. Next, we're going to cover electronic billing, which is the easiest and most cost-effective way to bill through TherapyNotes. This can be done from either your patient's billing tab or your practice's billing tab from the sidebar navigation. We can tell that we have a pending claim by the number indicated next to Submit Primary Claims or the green Pending Claim under the Insurance Status column. You can also find a prompt to submit primary electronic claims within your to-do list under the Billing tab. To submit an electronic claim, click Submit Primary Claims. Then adjust your date parameters next to Appointments if the dates of service you're looking for don't appear below. Once you locate the services you'll be submitting claims for, check the box next to the date of service, click Review Claim Details, and double-check that the claim information is correct. Then, click Submit Claims. Once a primary claim is submitted and primary ERA posted, you can click Billing, Submit Secondary Claims to review details and submit. After you submitted the claim, you can check on its status by going to Electronic Claim History, then clicking on the claim number. On this screen, you can view the claim history, which includes when the claim was generated, when it reaches the clearinghouse, and typically when it reaches the payer. Most payers will also send an alert into this section if a claim is rejected. Paper billing. Now let's go over paper claims. To submit a paper claim from your patient's billing tab or from your practice's billing page, make sure you have a number next to Create CMS 1500 under the Insurance Claims section. A number next to Create CMS 1500 and a green pending paper indicates that you have a paper claim ready to submit. If you click on the green insurance status hyperlink, you can then generate a claim by clicking Include on CMS to the right for services you'd like to bill for. The document format determines how the PDF you're about to generate will look. If you're printing onto an official CMS 1500, select PDF for printing onto a pre-printed form. If you're printing out a blank piece of white paper, select PDF with form background included. With your option selected, you can now click Download CMS 1500. External billing. On occasion, you may need to submit a claim outside of TherapyNotes. For example, submitting a claim to a payer directly through their online portal or employing a billing service that does not submit claims through TherapyNotes. In these instances, TherapyNotes allows you to mark the claim as submitted externally after you've submitted the claim to the payer via other means. Marking a claim as externally submitted doesn't actually submit the claim, but allows you to keep track of what claims have been submitted, along with the recording of insurance payment in TherapyNotes. To mark claims as externally submitted, click Mark External Claims from the billing page. Use the search filters to locate your specific date of service if it doesn't immediately appear below. After you have submitted the service manually via a method outside of TherapyNotes, click the Mark Submitted button next to the corresponding service. Regardless of the billing method you use, you can record your insurance claim payments by going to the Patient's Billing tab, then clicking Enter Insurance Payment. When entering an insurance payment, first select whether the payer is in or out of network, and then select the specific payer. After that, select the payment method, payment date, enter the payment amount, and the check number or transaction ID if applicable. Insurance companies may cover multiple patients with a single payment. In that case, change the patient name drop-down to any patient to locate additional patients. If the services you're trying to submit for are still not appearing, use the menu options to adjust the visible items and date range. Once the items you'd like to include are visible, use the allocation boxes to list how much you were paid for each service. If the amount you list in the allocation box is less than the amount you are expecting, you can write off the remainder of the balance by checking the adjustment box. When you're expecting a payment from secondary insurance or additional funds from the primary insurance, leave this box unchecked. Once all services being paid have been accounted for, you can add the payment into your account by clicking Save New Payment. If you've enabled ERAs in your account, you can post your payment even faster. To access ERA payment posting, go to Billing, click ERA, and click on the ERA number for the one you'd like to post. If you've already recorded this payment, click Mark as Process to remove it from your to-do list. To post the payment, click Post Payment, confirm that the information is correct, then click Post Payment again. On occasion, a payer may require a refund or submit a negative payment in the event of overpayment, penalties, or other adjustments. Recording an insurance refund is very similar to entering an insurance payment. The key difference is that the payment amount, as well as any resulting allocations, need to be recorded with negative numbers. A negative value can be entered with a minus sign or surrounded by parentheses. If you're expecting insurance to pay for this date eventually, leave the adjustment box unchecked. Otherwise, record the refund by clicking Save Changes. The last items we're going to talk about today are the billing reports. All reports you can access are found under the main billing section. First, we're going to look at patient aging and batch statements. Patient aging and batch statements help you determine which patients still have a balance or a credit. Using the filtering options, you can define the information you're looking for, then click Create Report to produce the data. From here, you can use the checkboxes on the left to produce a statement for a single patient or multiple patients, then click Create Patient Balance Statements at the bottom. If you want more information on any of these amounts, simply click on the balance total for greater detail. As with most reports in TherapyNotes, you can export this report as an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF file. If you would like to see how much your insurance payers owe your practice, click Insurance Aging Report from the Billing tab. Just like with the previous report, you can click on any amount to see the transactions that led to it, as well as export as an Excel spreadsheet or PDF file. For Insurance Aging Report, the user can specify if they want to view primary claims, secondary claims, or both by adjusting the sequence dropdown. Back to Billing, under More Reports, you can access the Revenue Report, which lets you see all the revenue the practice has earned. All revenue is counted by the date of payment, and you can use the filtering options to look for specific types of revenue. You can also see how much the practice has written off using the Write-Off Report. To see how many notes have been written in the practice, click Note Count Report, then adjust the filter options as needed before clicking Create Report. Keep in mind the Note Count Report is based on the date of service and not when the note was written. To stay on top of prior authorizations in your practice, use the Prior Authorization Report. This report allows you to gather data about all prior authorizations for your clients in your TherapyNotes account and easily see which codes may need to be renewed. For any other billing information you're searching for, we recommend using the Search Billing Transactions section. This is especially handy for finding appointments that are missing a note, as well as looking for appointments with a specific service code. And that concludes our billing training session. If you need additional support, check out our Help Center to access our library of articles and videos. If you prefer one-on-one assistance, our support team is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To try TherapyNotes for yourself, visit therapynotes.com and sign up for a free 30-day trial. Thanks for watching!